Are you folks familiar with JeremyDewitteCase.com? It's a fun website that tries to stay as up-to-date as possible on the DeWitt situation, but is everything on that website correct? Well, I've found something I think I've debunked. Stick around. If you've never heard of the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, it goes a little something like this. If evidence is gathered illegally, i.e. without the appropriate warrant or exigent circumstance, then that evidence and any evidence acquired as a result of that evidence is inadmissible in court. A concern presented on JeremyDewitteCase.com is the theory that DeWitt's traffic stop, the one that started all of the coverage on him, and the foundation for just about every charge he is now facing, was illegal. If that's true, that's a huge deal. I cannot overstate how big of an issue that could be for the prosecution. Let's explore the logic behind this claim. On the 7th of September 2019, Officer Ogletree pulled Jeremy DeWitt over at McKinnon Road and Lake Butler Boulevard after he was witnessed crossing a double yellow line. I believe it, considering we've seen footage from his own body camera of him repeatedly doing that. That would be crossing double yellow lines. The issue is this. Allegedly, that's outside of Windermere's jurisdiction, and Officer Ogletree is an officer who is limited to Windermere's jurisdiction, which means Windermere Police, to include Officer Ogletree, might not have the authority to conduct that stop. Unless, of course, the officers were involved in a fresh pursuit. Bing! But in Florida, that would require the police to suspect DeWitt of committing a felony and be actively fleeing from the police. Otherwise, the situation wouldn't meet the legal requirements to apply that particular exigent circumstance. And if he wasn't suspected of committing a violent felony, it would go against the Windermere Police's own pursuit policy. There. The website correctly states that crossing a double yellow line is not a felony. So, under the logic we've already discussed, it couldn't be used to justify a pursuit across jurisdictional lines. Now, I know someone's going to bring it up, so I'm going to get it out of the way right now. The bike DeWitt was riding did come back stolen, which is indicative of a felony. But it appears, based on Officer Ogletree's report, that he only determined it might be stolen after the stop was initiated. So we can't use that in the officer's defense. But none of this would matter if the police were never actually outside of their jurisdiction. Let's check real quick, shall we? If we look at Google Maps at the border of Windermere and compare it to the location of the stop definitely occurred outside of Windermere's borders. Except, look at that address. It still says Windermere. Well, that's certainly odd, isn't it? Does the website say anything about this? Well, sort of. Apparently they contacted the Orange County Sheriff and the Winter Garden Police to look into whose jurisdiction that fell under, and the response they got was that it was Orange County's jurisdiction. Okay, interesting, but there are a lot of questions that doesn't answer, such as, why wasn't Windermere contacted? You know what? Let's do that right now.
Good evening. I'm wondering if your police officer's jurisdiction ends at the city limits, or does it extend to all areas of the Windermere zip code?
And send.
You've got mail.
Oh, look, a response. Our jurisdiction is the town of Windermere. There are instances where officers would find themselves legally outside of the jurisdictional boundaries. For example, mutual aid, crimes, civil infractions that begin within town limits, and actual stops occurs outside the town limits. Not really sure about that last bit of wording, but it's from the Deputy Chief, Jennifer Treadwell. You'd think that she kind of knows what she's talking about, right? Let me read that again. Civil infractions that begin within town limits and actual stop occurs outside the town limit. Guess what? Crossing a double yellow line is a civil infraction. And if we look at another article on the Jeremy DeWitt case website, it establishes that the first traffic infraction was witnessed at McGuire Road and Park Avenue, which is within the town limits. I guess that solves this question. It's weird that the author of this article didn't reach out to Windermere about all of this. Or maybe they did and didn't like the response. Maybe the rumors are true and Jennifer is running this website, and as long as Jeremy is paying her rent, she says nice things about him. I don't know, But we are starting to delve into the realm of conspiracy theories. So I'm going to stop that train of thought. It's a channel about facts. Darn it. I can't deal with that sort of thing. But I'm looking into it. Jennifer, if you're running that website, I'm after you. Ooh, I'm onto your trail. Ha ha! Anyway, I want to end on one last thing. This isn't a line of demarcation. This is like we just where one part of a road was repaired at a different time from another part of the road. In conclusion, you almost had me worried, Jeremy DeWitt case, but I don't think this is going to be an issue for the prosecution. If you have further questions, please leave them in the comments section. Like, subscribe, share, I don't know. Get the news out there. Why not? And until the next time, be good, stay safe. Folks, one more thing before you go. This doesn't actually fall under Windermere Police's pursuit policy. See, that policy is for vehicles that are actively fleeing from law enforcement. Jeremy wasn't actively fleeing. Once those lights and maybe sirens went on, he pulled over. So there's a lot of hullabaloo over pretty much nothing here. But that's it for real this time. There's a lot more coming. You guys have seen what they've said about me. Well, don't worry, I'm making a video to dispute a lot of the facts in this whole situation where I got kicked off a stage. I know. I'll be talking about it. Don't worry.